What's up, buddy fighters? We're back with a deck profile, and for today, we are going to review Magic World 72 Pillars. Now, I am with my brother Justin right here. What's up, body fighters? For today's video, we're going to have another deck profile, and we are going to review Magic World 72 Pillars for today. I am with my brother right here, so we're going to give you the full deck list and the overview of what 72 Pillars is, or the game style of 72 Pillars. Now, let's head over to the deck.
Two Pillars is actually a deck that is quite aggressive and fills the field with monsters that can be ready for attack at least more than 2 times during the attack phase. So for our deck list, initially,
First, we have second Omni Demon Lord Asmodai Revival Buddy.
one of the useful abilities for this is it becomes size 0 whenever a set spell is on the field. And it has high power and crit, which will be quite useful during attack phases.
The next card is a Fallen Angel of Rebellion Rusifel.
This takes advantage of field wiping your opponent's cards by returning them to hand, and usually works best when you do discard effects.
Now we have Overturn Demon Lord Asmodai.
One of our discard engines. It also works well and gives our 72 pillar monsters additional power and critical.
We have Demon Lord again Asmodai.
This is one of the more critical parts of the deck because of its ability, which is a draw engine, and at the same time, it returns all monsters and cards from your opponent's field to hand. Plus, it has double attack. Although the casting cost or the call cost is quite expensive, as you need to pay 2 gauge. This can be called for free when you play Saturday Night Fever.
Next we have Demon Lord Asmodai Revival Buddy.
Works in sync with the size 3 as it searches a set spell, and can also be useful as a draw engine for the deck.
We have Charismatic Demon Lord Teacher Asmodai.
We can have this used to bring monsters from the drop zone.
We have Demon Lord Deputy Vinea.
Vinya works well with the discard effects as you get to gain a gauge. At the same time, have him return to hand. So this is actually one of the engines of the deck to make sure that your gauge does not run out.
Next, we have Deceiving Shacks.
So another one of the draw engines, you can take advantage of him coming to field on its own, and you can add additional effects of drawing when you bring him back by Saturday Night Fever.
Lastly, we have Demon Musician Amdukyas.
So we take advantage of its effect by getting a monster from the drop zone back to hand.
Over to the spell cards of the deck. For the first one, we have Nice One.
One of the most important Magic World cards ever for drawing at a cheap cost of 1 gauge.
Next, we have Sephiroth's Lecture.
Still, another one of the most essential Magic World cards ever. Lets you gain resource and put 1 to hand and 1 to gauge.
Next, we have Holy Magic.
Actually, this is one of our favorite cards. As it gets you resources, gauge 2, gain 2 life, and draw 2 cards. One of the weakness actually of 72 Pillars is it does not have access to life gain.
Yeah.
So this is one of the more important cards for us, and it also helps filter the drop zone to remove spells, and because you can still use the Saturday Night Fever even without the spells in the drop zone.
Next, we have Great Spell Saturday Night Devil Fever.
So yes, this is one of the most important cards of the deck, as it lets you get to call three
Three.
size 172 pillars from the drop zone without paying the call cost. This works well with the Asmodeis that we have mentioned in during the monsters portion of the deck profile.
Next, we have Fake Out.
Fake out for nullifying the attack and for drawing card. Okay.
And we have Asmodai on stage.
Asmodai on stage, a set spell that lets you gain resources. Also protects your monsters from monster effects. Destruction by monster effects.
Now, I think this one also a staple card for all Magic World. It's Key of Solomon First Volume.
For additional gauge.
Yeah. Next, we have Let's Have Fun.
Let's have fun. This makes sure that you get to get the item and an Asmodai that you need for the meantime. Normally, you can have many Asmodais in your hand initially or during your turn, but you may need a specific Asmodai for your for what you will be using. So you can either put the Revival Body, you can put the the Omnilord, you can put the one that returns all to hand. So it's really useful.
Yep. Next is the Grace of the Sun Deity.
A generic protection to protect you from
Pinged.
from card effects and for
Damage.
removal.
We have Kronos Bante Arge
For draw utility.
for draw utility. Next, we have the Great Spell Circle Reservoir.
One of the quintessential cards lets you get additional resource whenever you cast a spell.
Next, we have Overstand.
So this one lets you get extra gauge to make sure that your gauge doesn't run out. And
Because I remember the other Asmodai
Yes.
costs a lot to gauge. Now, we have Terukale.
mainly you cannot use the 3-stud effect, but we use this for resting and to make sure we gain survivability.
Next one, I think all deck has this one.
Yes. Body block.
Block.
Yeah, as you know, every decks have multiple attacks, so this one is what can really help you survive at least one more turn.
Next, we have Bar King Solomon.
Barking Solomon works well with the return mechanism of the 72 pillars and disrupts your opponent's hand.
Next, we have Never Say Never.
Lets you get a gauge for 2. Then if you're in a pinch when you only have this card in hand, you get to draw 2 cards.
Next, we have Buddy Fighters Without Limit.
Yeah, so as I mentioned a while ago, one of the weaknesses of the 72 pillars is its access to life gain. So this makes sure that we get additional life. So you can see the spells that we put in the deck are many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We put 17 spells. This assures you that you get to use Holy Magic once a turn during your turn. So you get more resource, reload with the Saturday Night Fever, and at least do your attack phases 2 times during the turn.
Head over to the items and impact card of the deck. First, we have The Tome of Sorcery Almandel.
Yeah, this one is to do a special summon. I mean,
Yeah.
card effect summon. So you can rest this one and call 72 pillars from monster from your hand by paying the call cost. So essentially, you can do a surprise drop of this size 4 and hit your opponent with 4. Or do a different one if you need to return your opponent's cards to hand. You can use Demon Lord again as Modai.
And now lastly, the last card for the deck is the Gatling Hardcore.
So yes, this works in conjunction with the set spells this item, and the monsters. So at least you can do 5 damage at least without set spells. But if you do have the set spells in play, you can deal more damage. This works well actually with the overstand.
Mm-hmm.
So because when you deal damage with overstand and cast the overstand, you get to gain additional gauge equal to the damage dealt. So it's likely a surprise attack to your opponent. When he gets
Surprise
hit by
damage.
four crits, then he thought that he survives for the turn. Then get the overstand, then bam, hit him with the
Gatling Hardcore.
Gatling Hardcore. So yes, 72 Pillars has been so long since it has been in the
Game phase.
yes. So we tried our best to have this deck fit in the current meta. Although it's quite hard, but yeah, we did try to solve some of the issues that we are having, like life gain, access to life gain,
Gauge.
and resource management.
Gauge problems.
Although I can say that it's not a weak deck, but it can hang with the
Current meta decks that we have.
So in my opinion, this can be a good fun deck and a surprise deck that your opponent can be shocked that because he is hit by what he does not know.
Now don't forget that 72 Pillars is an aggressive deck.
Yes.
It deals damage particularly to your opponent straightforward, and then you just have to hit them with an OTK.
Each time.
Since this deck may lack defensive cards,
Yes.
the defense mechanism, but the aggro part can be really
Advantageous.
hurting, yeah,
Yeah.
for the opponent. So that is all for the Magic World 72 Pillars. I hope you guys could learn a lot from this deck profile, especially in this attribute. See you again next time here in Try Hard Gaming. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.